Johnny Talk Sports with my Week 14 NFL predictions. Week 13, pretty solid week. It was right on where I said it was going to be. I thought I was going to finish 11-5, but I did 12-4. So that's still really good. 38-8 the last 3 weeks, so we're going to try to continue this hot streak. But first, let's go over the ones I missed. It didn't start off well with Washington and Dallas. And in this pick'em group I'm in, a guy is 0-13 in Thursday night games this year. Beamer Ball 666. I should have listened to the Gino. Check out Gino Bisconti. He's a great picker, great talent. He's also a great comedian too. So look up his channel and subscribe. Should have listened to the Gino. I also missed San Francisco and Chicago, which let's be real. That game was just gonna be awful to begin with. It didn't matter who won. People still lost. Detroit over Baltimore. I missed that one. I really thought Matthew Stafford was gonna have a good response week after the heartbreaker on Thanksgiving, but the Ravens defense was ready to play that day. And the final one I missed, the Panthers over the Saints. I just wasn't sure how the Saints were going to respond after losing to the Rams. I just wasn't sure how they were going to respond that week after, but they got the W. Their running game's been pretty good ever since. I believe they've been the best, in my opinion. The Saints have had the best running game ever since they traded Adrian Peterson. So, let's move on to Week 14. But still, 38-8 the last 3 weeks. Let's try to keep up this hot streak in Week 14. Now, I'm going to start with the Thursday night game, although I'm kind of scared on this one because I'm not sure what the Beamer Ball 666 is up to. He's 0-13 in Thursday night games, but I think he's due for one soon. I'm going with the Saints, and it doesn't matter what he thinks, but I think he's due for a victory, and I think it's going to come this week if he picks the Saints, because the Falcons' run defense is just not that good. And the Falcons are just, things have been kind of disaster for them this season. It's just a roller coaster ride for them. So I'm going with the Saints here. Next, we got the Colts and Bills. Now, this is one of the picks that I don't really want to pick. In fact, half of these, let me just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Over half these picks this week are really tough to pick. Either because the games are going to be good, or that both these teams are really horrible this year and it just really doesn't matter. But I'm going with the Bills here. Bears and Bangles now. Joe Mixon's going to be in concussion protocol. Vontaze Burfict's going to be in concussion protocol. Just a dirty game on both sides in the Monday night game this week. But I'm going with the Bengals here. Packers versus Browns. I got the Packers getting this victory and getting some help for Aaron Rodgers to pull some wins together at the end of the season to hopefully make a playoff run. I like the Packers in this one. Raiders and the Chiefs. Now, this game shouldn't really be up for grabs. Like, this is a huge one. First place in the AFC West can be on the line. But I'm going to go with the Raiders here. I just feel like the Chiefs secondary just hasn't been that good this season ever since Eric Berry went down for the year in Week 1. The Chiefs secondary just has not been that well. So I'm going with the Raiders here. And plus with Michael Crabtree coming back this week from the suspension, I like the Raiders in this one. Cowboys and the Giants. So the Giants fired their head coach today, Ben McAdoo, and their GM, Jerry Reese. So, and Eli Manning's going to start again, but I still think the Cowboys are going to win this game. I just feel like they had, kind of when teams have a must-win victory, it tends to be a good confidence boost. So I like that for the Cowboys this week. I'm going with Dallas. Detroit and Tampa Bay. I'm scared of this one, but I'm going with the Lions here. I want to take a chance to go with Tampa Bay, but I think Detroit will have a response week this week. And plus, to take advantage of the Buccaneers' horrible pass defense, which has been really inconsistent, and Matt Stafford has receivers to target. So I'm going with the Lions. Vikings and the Panthers. Now, this is going to be a huge game. Huge playoff implications could be in for this game. But I'm going with the Vikings here. I just am not sold on the Panthers yet. I mean, even Panthers fans I've seen on Twitter are saying that their defense is overrated and they're starting to accept that. So I'm going with the Vikings here. I'm just riding the Keenum train right now. 49ers and Texans. I mean, come on. Whoever wins this game is going to lose. I mean, the Browns want the 49ers to win because the more games the Texans lose, the higher draft pick the Browns will get. Because remember, The Browns have the Texans' first-round pick because the Texans traded up to draft Deshaun Watson, who's now out for the season. So really, the Browns really want the 49ers to win this game, but I think the Texans are going to win. I mean, Tom Savage hasn't proven to be a savage at all, but he's got a savage receiver in DeAndre Hopkins. He's also got a savage running game. I'm going with the Texans. Jets and the Broncos. Now, I want to take a chance on this one, but either way, I'm still going to. I'm going to take the Jets, because the Jets, they've shown some flashes. They almost beat the Panthers. Well, according to the Kicker's Rob King, who's a big Jets fan. By the way, subscribe to the Kicker. Really great channel. Great comedy on that one. I'm going with the Jets, because the Jets, they've shown more flashes for me than the Broncos have. Because the Jets pretty much gave away the game against the Panthers. So I'm going with the Jets here, coming off a great victory against the Chiefs. I like that Jets trying to keep rolling this week. Titans and the Cardinals. I'm going with the Titans here. I know the Cardinals can pull off an upset. The last 2 weeks ago they pulled off an upset against the Jaguars. I just can't see this right now. I'm going with the Titans here, but it won't surprise me though if the Cardinals win this game. That's one of the picks this week I'm kind of up in the air about. Redskins and the Chargers. I'm going with the Chargers. I feel like that underrated pass rush led by Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram, I think it's really going to cause some problems with Kirk Cousins, considering the Redskins have had 24 different offensive line combinations this season, the most in the NFL. So I'm going with the Chargers too. I think the Chargers defense is going to have their way with that Redskins offensive line. I'm going with Chargers here. Plus, the Chargers are really hot lately ever since going 0-4. So, Chargers. Eagles and the Rams. Now, this is one of the best games of the week. We got a couple good ones, quite a few good ones this week, but I think this one's kind of up there. I'm taking the Eagles to respond after last week's loss against Seattle. And plus, I think Philadelphia embraces playing in LA because their fans will outnumber the crowd in Ramland or in LA. So I'm going with the Eagles on this one. Seahawks and Jaguars. I'm going to go with the Seahawks in this one. Although I think this is going to be a great game to watch. I'm kind of not sold on Jacksonville yet. I mean, how many real playoff teams have they beaten this year? The only team they really beaten that's any good is the Steelers. And that was just a fluke game for the Steelers. I feel like if the Steelers and Jaguars played again, I think the Steelers would win by at least 14. So I'm going with Seattle. I think Russell Wilson will make the exact same plays that he did to upset the Eagles. I'm taking the Seahawks. Sunday night game, Baltimore and Pittsburgh. I'm going with the Steelers. Patriots and Dolphins. Now Gronk, at this moment, is suspended for one game, but he's trying to appeal that suspension. But whether he plays or not, Tom Brady still has Brandon Cooks. Patriots defense is lucky enough to play the Dolphins. So I'm going with the Patriots here. Alright, so those are my Week 14 picks. Really just keeping score at home. I got the Saints, Bills, Bengals, Packers, Raiders, Cowboys, Lions, Vikings, Texans, Jets, Titans, Chargers, Eagles, Seahawks, Steelers, and Patriots all winning this week. 38-8 the last 3 weeks. Let's try to keep that hot. I'm hoping to keep that hot streak going. But I think it's possible that I could go 10-6 this week. I hope to do better than 10-6. My goal this week is to go at least 10-6. Because a lot of these games are really hard. Kind of like what I said earlier. That either the games are really good or both teams are really bad. And they're just basically coin flips. So that's the goal, 10-6. If I do better, that's really nice. But that's kind of my goal this week. Anyway, like and subscribe to the channel. Share with your friends and family. I will see you next time. Have a great night or day whenever you're watching. I'll see you next time.